NIO has been getting a lot of news media attention lately. There's been a lot of positive NIO catalysts in the past few days. On April 7, NIO rolls out their 100,000 production vehicle. A great accomplishment, one that was even congratulated by the one and only Elon Musk. On April 9th, Elon tweeted, "Congrats to NIO." That is a tough milestone, acknowledging NIO's hard work and accomplishment. On April 19th, it was announced NIO plans wider recharging and battery swap network. On April 20th, despite NIO's chip shortage, deliveries could double this year, says analyst. On April 21st, this was released. 3 stocks that offer explosive potential gains, and yes, NIO's one of them. We will also go over William Li's latest Shanghai interview to give us some NIO guidance. Analysts see a bright future for the stock, and lastly, we will go over some of NIO's price targets. We have a lot to unpack in this video. If you're invested or thinking of investing into NIO, you don't want to miss this. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get notified for my latest videos. If you want to get 2 free stocks, try Webull. Get 2 free stocks when you deposit $100 or more. To get the most up-to-date high-growth stock news, my latest buy and sell alerts, and smart money market sentiment, check out my Patreon. It comes with private Discord and a full range of server benefits. All the links will be below under the description of this video. Let's start off with the oldest news to the most recent. On April 7th, NIO hit a big milestone of producing 100,000 cars. The first vehicle was produced on May 27, 2018. That's a huge accomplishment. It took them nearly 3 years to hit this goal. 2 days later, Elon Musk congratulated and acknowledged their accomplishment by tweeting, "Congrats to NIO." That is a tough milestone. This is bullish and nice to see Elon acknowledging such an accomplishment. On April 19th, this article was released. NIO plans wider recharging and battery swap network. NIO made a splash at the Shanghai Auto Show on Monday with an inaugural appearance of its up-and-coming ET7 luxury sedan, an announcement of a new plan to provide broader availability of recharging and battery swap services. The plan is a 3-year initiative to add battery swap stations and various types of chargers and charging stations in 8 provinces and autonomous areas of the country. NIO said in a statement, "The Power North plan will significantly better the power experience of electric vehicle users in northern China." NIO's power solutions include internet-based networks for battery charging and battery swap stations. The company touts its offering a power service system with chargeable, swappable, and upgradable batteries to provide users with power services catering to all scenarios. The new Power North plan aims to increase the country's EV market by easing consumer anxiety regarding battery life. It will result in a battery swap station or charger station about every 60 miles on average along highways and will increase the density of charging and swapping stations in urban areas. The company also said that the vast majority of tourist attractions will also have such facilities. The announcement of the plan came as the company presented its new ET7 luxury sedan at the Shanghai Auto Show. The high-end EV will be available next year and is NIO's first sedan model, in contrast to its current SUV designs. Before we continue with further news, let's take a look at William Li's interview at the Shanghai Auto Show.
What is the electric vehicle market in China looking like as you focus your attention on the second half?
Yeah, 3月份对中国的智能电动汽车产业来讲是
March was a milestone for China's smart EV market, as it was the first time EVs accounted for more than 10% of new car sales. More and more individual users are buying EVs, and I think this is a very good start. I'm very optimistic about the market this year, including the second half.
Okay, some analysts are saying that you are going to be able to ship or deliver 185,000 units this year at NIO. Is that an achievable target?
In the first quarter, we delivered 20,000 cars, and we reached a milestone of 100,000 units earlier this month. We are very confident about the delivery outlook, but we don't comment on the specific numbers.
Every time we talk to you, we talk about competition and the fact that competition is only becoming more intense. We've got the likes of Geely with their Zeekr brand next to us, Evergrande, the real estate developer, even they are getting on in the EV space. Is this a healthy development? Does it concern you?
这就是中国啊，我是欢迎竞争的。
I welcome competition as that quickens innovation. We are seeing many new companies entering the market, but this is a very long-term market. I don't think it's a short-distance race, but a long-distance running. We are very confident in long-term competition.
我们已经构建了一个充换电的网络。从长期的竞争的角度来讲，我们还是非常有信心的。
This year, BMW, Audi, Mercedes, they're all coming out with their own electric vehicle brands. Is this the year, 2021, where those legacy car makers really make an impact on the EV space?
对，我看到他们确实也推出了很多新的产品。
We see legacy brands launching competitive products. Still, they are latecomers in the smart EV field. They still have much work to do. Besides them, we are also watching for big technology companies such as Xiaomi, Huawei, and Baidu entering the market. We need to see the market holistically.
A number of automakers obviously feeling the impact of the global chip shortage. There was a suspension at NIO for 5 days. Is that the end of it? Do you see more pain and more pressure ahead when it comes to those supplies of chips?
The chip shortage significantly impacted the entire automobile market. As our quantity is relatively small, we are confident we can weather the situation despite many challenges. We hope the supply improves in the second half of the year, but the second quarter will be very challenging.
What are the steps specifically that you're putting in place to address that chip shortage?
我们组建了一个专门的 team 每天会去。
We built a team which oversees the entire supply chain to monitor which supply will affect our capacity. I think the mechanism is good. We started this last year, and it ran well in the first quarter.
Great video. William Li is aware of the new up-and-coming competition in the Chinese market. He's focused on NIO's accomplishments and sees this as a long-term business. He's not concerned of any short-term hurdles and sees a bright future. On April 20th, this was released. Despite the chip shortage, deliveries could double this year, says analysts. NIO is due to report its Q1 earnings on April 29th, and Mizuho analyst Vijay Rakesh is optimistic, rating the stock a buy with a $60 price target. As the analyst advises in his recent note, NIO grew its deliveries more than fivefold year over year in March to about 20,100 vehicles, as production of its ES8 and EC6 SUVs ramped far faster than the global car industry production growth of 16% or the 77% increase in China unit sales, either one. And NIO sales exceeded its own published prediction of 19,500 deliveries. Despite well-publicized and industry-wide supply problems with semiconductors needed for a car production, Rakesh believes the company's sales are likely to remain strong through 2021, roughly doubling through year-end even if production slows somewhat in near-term Q2, as the industry works out its kinks in the semiconductor supply chain. Rakesh forecasts deliveries of 87,000 EVs this year, 141,000 EVs in 2022, and 223,000 in 2023. Helping NIO maintain this strong growth trend, says the analyst, it's the company's leading position in battery swap stations in China, where an EV's depleted batteries can be charged, or alternatively, switch out for a fully charged batteries in minutes. Because NIO sells cars separately from the batteries and provides the latter as a service, battery swaps are included in the latter's price. Rakesh estimates that it costs NIO between $450,000 and $1.5 million to set up a battery swap station, and another $300,000 to stock it with batteries in inventory. Although both these costs will decline in the future as standardization is implemented across the industry in accordance with government policy. Over the next 4 years, Rakesh notes that NIO will be growing from the 500 or so stations it plans to have by the end of this year, ultimately setting up as many as 5,000 such battery swap stations in partnership with the state-owned Chinese oil and gas giant Sinopec. The analyst further notes that NIO will be allowing owners of Ford Mustang E-Electric cars to utilize its battery charging stations, thus growing NIO's customer base and helping NIO amortize battery station costs faster. What does all this mean for NIO in terms of dollar and cents? Rakesh estimates that NIO will generate $5.2 billion in revenue and lose 29 cents per share this year, but growth revenues 85% to $9.6 billion in 2022 and turn its first profit that year, 14 cents per share. Despite the company turning profitable in 2022, however, The analyst chose to base his $60 price target not on earnings, but on a valuation of 8.8 times 2022 estimated sales. Perhaps because he's saying that NIO is worth 428 times 2022 estimated earnings would sound a bit too rich. In any case, by 2023, the analyst sees revenues growing another 73%, reaching $16.6 billion, and profits growing sixfold to 88 cents per share. Assuming NIO hits those numbers, its PE based on 2023 earnings would drop to somewhat more palatable 68 times earnings. NIO has strong backing from the rest of the street. Bearing 3 holds, all 6 other analysts who have published a review over the last 3 months recommend the stock as a buy. The moderate buy consensus rating is accompanied with a $62.30 price target, which implies a 72% upside from current levels. I think this was a fantastic article that paints a great picture for the future of NIO. On April 21st, this was released. 3 stocks that offer explosive potential gains, NIO being one of them. The article goes over ChargePoint and Ucore being the other 2 potential big buy stocks, but I will be focusing on NIO only in this video. As recently as early 2020, Shanghai-based NIO was flirting with bankruptcy, but a push by the Chinese government to accelerate the growth of the country's EV industry contributed to a strong surge in sales. The company more than doubled its vehicle deliveries in 2020 compared to 2019, though that still only amounted to about 44,000 electric cars. Its production growth rate is accelerating, however. In the first quarter of 2021, deliveries soared by more than 400% year over year to over 20,000. EV sales in China surpassed 1 million in 2020, and the government's goal is to expand that annual number to 5 million by 2025. According to a forecast from sector research organization Bloomberg NEF, China's EV sales could reach 10 million by 2030 and approach 20 million by 2040. The opportunity that degree of market growth represents hasn't been lost on investors. NIO stock is up more than 1,000% since its period of financial struggles a year ago, but its shares are also down by more than 40% from their recent peak. NIO's current $60 billion market cap is still pricing an enormous amount of anticipation growth. The automaker will be selling its ET7 luxury sedan early next year, and it recently announced plans for the new production factory, its unique battery swap subscription service, and an agreement with Ford to allow Chinese Mach-E buyers to use NIO's charging network will also add to its revenue streams. It certainly won't happen overnight, but the stock has the potential to advance well beyond its current level if the company executes. Once again, in this article, the battery agreement with Ford is mentioned here. This is huge for NIO. Their battery technology and services is being adopted by other big players in the EV industry. Just another revenue stream for the car maker. Let's take a look at some price targets. Since my last NIO update video, we are still trading within a range between $35 and $46. Late last week, we hit the $35 support line here. I really like how it's holding strong at this level, continues to confirm the strength of the stock. It hit this level 3 times and continues to hold. I'm confident to say at this point, it will not close below $35 in the short term. Earnings is around the corner, and I could be wrong. Just be cautious when trading around earnings. Today it broke out and closed above my 10-day moving average. Now we want it to close above $46 to have a chance to go back up to all-time highs. I believe this will take some time, but seems like the stars are aligned and we can see it trading around the 60s later this year. Analysts give it an average price target of $62.30 with a high estimate of $81 and a low estimate of $38.80, which at the time of this recording it's at the bargain price of $39.57, just a few cents above the 1-year bear forecast. In other words, it doesn't get any cheaper than this. We have 6 buy, 3 hold, and 0 sell ratings for the stock. There's 798 institutional owners making 34% of the shares. In the past few days, we've been having a lot of mixed institutional activity with some buying and selling. The current short volume ratio is at 28%.